I'm Zach from Kid2Kid Tutorials, and today we're going to be working on rectangles and squares. And don't forget to subscribe. So, for our first three problems on rectangles, one says we have to prove that all rectangles are also parallelograms, prove that the diagonals of a rectangle are congruent, and finally, find the length of a diagonal of a rectangle given that its perimeter is 44 and one side has a length of 10. So, to answer the first one, we prove that all rectangles are also parallelograms. So parallelograms must have two pairs of parallel sides. So we draw out a rectangle. So we know this side here is parallel to that side. Parallel to that side. And this side is parallel to that side. So that's one pair and then two pairs. These two here and these two here. So that's two pairs, which makes a rectangle a parallelogram. So now we go on to 2. Prove that the diagonals of a rectangle are congruent. So we have this here is equal to that here, and this is equal to that. And we know that this triangle here, right here, is equal to this triangle right here by SAS congruence. Side, so they both share this side. So this side is equal, that's one side. And then another side, these two. And then this angle right here is equal to this angle right here, using vertex angles. So we know that these are congruent by side angle side. So this diagonal must be equal to this diagonal. So now let's go on to 3. Find the length of a diagonal here of a rectangle given that its perimeter is 44 and one side has a length of 10. So let's say this side has a length of 10. So this side must also have a length of 10 since these two are congruent. And since AB is equal to DC, we know that these both can be named AB because AB is equal to DC. So these are the same lengths, so we can name them the same point. So AB and AB. So those are the two same side lengths, and then we add that to AD and BC to get the perimeter, 44. So we have AB plus AB, since AB is equal to this side, plus 10, which is this side right here, and then plus another 10, that side right there. And that is going to be equal to 44. So, we know that AB and DC must be equal to 12 if the perimeter is going to be equal to 44. So, if we plug in 12 for AB, we have 12 plus 12 plus 10 plus 10, which equals 20 plus, if we add the two 12s, that's 24, plus the two 10s, which is 20, and then we get 44 by adding those two. So this must be 12, and this must be 12. Also, since we're trying to find the diagonal, this diagonal splits the rectangle into two 45, 45, 90 triangles, right here and right here. So we use the Pythagorean theorem to find AC because we see this triangle right here, and the sides are 12, 10, and 12. And then we use the Pythagorean theorem to find this side. So we have 10 squared plus 12 squared equals AC squared. So we'll clear that off since we already know these sides. So we have 10 squared plus 12 squared equals AC squared. And then using algebra, we see this is 100 and this is 144, and then we square it, so 100 plus 144, so plus 144, equals AC squared. And then we take the square root of both sides. So first we can add these. So 100 plus 144 is equal to 244, which equals AC squared. So now we take the square root of both sides, of this one and that one, and we get AC equals, once we simplify that out, that equals the square root of 61. And that is the length of this diagonal here. So now we go to our problem on squares. Find the perimeter and area of a square that has a diagonal of length 8. So we know that a square is a rectangle, so the diagonals must be the same. So if this diagonal is 8, then this diagonal is 8. So then, since the square is also a rhombus, we know that the product of the two, half of the product of the two diagonals is the area. So what that means is the product of the two diagonals, which is 8, times this diagonal, which is another 8. So we have 8 times 8 divided by 2, which equals, of course, 32. So 8 times 8 is 64, divided by 2 is 32. So we know that the area is 32. Now, to find the perimeter, A stands for area, which equals 32. Now to find the perimeter, we know that this diagonal cuts both of these, cuts the square and divides it into two triangles, two 45, 45, 90 triangles. So since we know the proportional side lengths of a 44 and 90 triangle, we know that that is the diagonal divided by the square root of 2. So 8 divided by the square root of 2. And then if we rationalize the denominators, that means to multiply by the square root of 2 and to make the denominator rational. And we have 8 times the square root of 2 divided by 2, which equals 4 square root of 2. So we know that the sides are 4 square root of 2. And that applies for the other sides because they, in the square, all the sides are congruent. So then to find the perimeter, we just add all these up. So an easier way to do this is multiply 4 by one of the sides, because all the sides are congruent and there's 4 sides. So we have 4 times 4 square root of 2, and that equals 16 square root of 2. And 16 square root of 2 is the perimeter. Now we have the area, which is 32, and the perimeter, which is 16 square root of 2. Thank you for watching Kid2Kid Tutorials. And if you like our videos, please share, like, and subscribe. Thank you.